going to make this my 255 subscriber special. Okay, and if you don't know why 255 is important to a programmer, I can't help. Is the recasing. Okay, so this is a Coolmaster N300. Okay, it's really light. This is really light. So this is, I'm not sure what they call it. It's a mid-tower. It's a mid-tower case, so it's the same as what we've got. This is the one with a mesh side. There are two types, glass side and the mesh side. And cheapest case you can get that has 8 internal 3.5-inch drive cages. So I'm going to rotate the camera in a moment, and I'm going to take a first look at it. Okay, here is the Coolmaster N300. As I said, this is the cheapest case I could find on Amazon or any actual seller. This is £38 of goodness. It weighs nearly nothing. It's a mid-tower case with 8 3.5-inch drive slots, which I think is quite impressive for £38. So I'm going to open this up for the first time, and we're going to have a look together. If you have one of these, folks, and you're using a knife like I am to open it, please do take care. First of all, that you don't cut yourself, and second of all, that you don't cut the case. Okay, I can see good things already. Let me just put the knife down. First impressions, I can see the Coolmaster logo. And I will turn this over and get it out. Let gravity do the work, folks. It's a lot deeper than I thought. So the case was actually in face up. It was in there face up. So the box doesn't give you a good idea of how big it actually is. We have a set of instructions there, which we'll have a look at in a second. Now, I have Coolmaster cases elsewhere. My main PC here is a Cosmos 1000. Immediately, it's a bit rough and ready. So the top, we can see, I can get my hand in here, but the top is ready for 2 sets of fans, or obviously a single radiator, top venting. There is a Coolmaster fan on the rear 120mm case, but there are holes for, I'm not sure if actually if there's a 140 or 120, but there's holes for smaller all the way down. This is made in China. We've got the I/O shield. Now this is the bottom of the case, so we'll flip it over in a moment. We've got thumb screws everywhere, the I/O shield port here, and here the PCI slot. Now, apart from the bottom one being a bit dinged, they're all good. Okay, there's all wires inside. So let's turn it the right way up. This is the right way up. So I/O, PCI, power at the bottom. We have a grill, and there is a very basic dust filter on the inside. There's literally just a piece of plastic. So we'll have a look at that in a second. But it doesn't look bad, does it? We can put fans here, large fans. In fact, I might be looking at putting a 180mm fan on the side to side vent, as well as top vent, to really bring in air this way and bring it up, as well as taking air through the front and out the back. Okay, and then on the opposite side, we've got more grill, clearly for hanging a radiator rather than fans. There's no actual screw points for a fan, but it's slightly, can you see it's slightly out? We're talking 3mm, so it comes out. So if you were sliding this in, which luckily I'm not, but if you were sliding it in, it would bulge out. Let's look at the front. We've got the 3.5-inch drive bay for a floppy. I can see the second pre-mounted fan is here in the front, and there's space for another fan bottom. So we've got 2 120mm fans, and then the 3.5-inch drive bay, and then 2 5.25-inch drive bays at the top. The I/O is here, so we've got power and reset. They're quite nice. They're really nice. They're really nice buttons. 2 USB 2s, 1 USB 3. I thought that was something else, but that's actually just a blanking plate by the look of it. Microphone and headphones. Do you know what? It's a lot better than the case it's replacing. I quite like this already. So let's take the, whoa, they're tight. For thumb screws, they're tight. It does not feel badly put together. Now it's all riveted apart from the screws in the pre-existing fans. And let's take this side off. So this is the rear. So they're not, I thought these would be paper thin. They haven't got that much flex in them. They're okay. This obviously has, you can see, the raised edge of that grill. On the inside, it is just a slot. There are just slots. You see them? Here, here, and the other side. I guess you could mount a radiator on that. As for connecting into the case, it's nothing special. They're just side catches that slide it into place and hold it still. So it's not hugely engineered. And that side came off a lot easier. This side obviously has the grill, you can see, for an external fan, which I may do. Again, even without that raised platform, not as flexible as I worried about. Okay, here is the inside of the case for you all to look at. So we'll start from this side. We have the fitted 120mm fan. It's a standard Coolmaster fan. It's not solid black. I don't know if you can tell, but you can just see through these blades. They're actually translucent plastic. It looks quite nice. Any lighting you were to perform would shine through there quite well. It has a decent length of wire on it, and it's ready to go. It's a 3-pin PWM fan. The motherboard cutout, so we've got the I/O cutout, but we've also got an indentation cutout away from the back. So we could, at a push, perhaps route small cables through the back and then back up this way. I won't be looking at that per se because my SATA points are going to be down here. But if you were able to feed them up and under the motherboard and back around again, it's fine. It would let you get your finger in here. I can see the clearance. There is clearance for a flat ribbon cable. So the first thing I saw when I looked in here was this cutout, which it's formed a foot to stand the motherboard on. So fitting, I think, is going to be, the primary thing here. The other pieces are the back plates. They're just cut out. You'd have to break them off to get them in and out. They're not screwed on. It is a bit of a shame. I don't like that per se. I often use them quite a lot. There is a motherboard ATX, micro-atx I/O, so it disappears. There's either these two coming in this way, okay, or there's ones disappearing down the bottom. It's hard to show you these. I'll lift it up. Can you see this? Okay, and these go round the back and disappear up here. That is the clearance you've got. When you get from behind this gap for the motherboard rear, you have got clearance for drive cables and things like that. I may look at looking at some of that, but there's these ones in front. So you've got these behind and these in front. It's a bit confusing. So all the rest are just standard. I don't know if you can make that out. They're just standard 9-slot marked headers. They are just electronic headers. And this one, the USB 3, gets a molded plastic plug. I don't know why the difference. Okay, everything's been kept dry inside with a silica gel sachet. And then we have some additional pieces, which I'll look at in a moment. There's mainly the screws, the standoffs. There's a Molex to fan power connector, and there's a whole bunch of little tiny black cable ties. The thing I'm worried about is this top connector here. So these are the locking drive lugs. So the first one is a Y-shaped or V-shape. You slot it in place. And it locks on. I don't know if I like that. I'm not sold on it. There are matching ones on this side as well. So they rotate and lock in place. Not a huge fan. I don't think they're very sturdy. I personally would go with a screw for these. but it's nice to have. Same for these, I think. Yeah, they're just literally a plastic peg piece that screws flat into place, and it locks into these keys. So the center of those pieces lock into place. The first one was slidable on this rail, but these are all the 3.5-inch bays that I'll be using. Let's take all of these off, and there are similarly singles on the back. So you get completely toolless for the 3.5-inch bays, 6 clips, 4 flats and 2 V's. So you get 6. If you were doing it one-sided, you could fit 6 drives, but you want to mark both sides. As for working on the other side, it does look a little cramped at the front. This is, you can see my fingers now, so the drive cage is behind my hand, and there's these cables front. So these are perhaps for managing cables, and there's the front fan connector coming this way. So there's a lot going on here, but it could be tidied up quite nicely. There's a lot of room for this price point. There's a lot of room working here. I would maybe disconnect that, route them forward and down there. Make sure that the door doesn't catch on them. It's all good. I think for £38, I've got an absolute bargain here. And the 5.25-inch connectors are just longer versions of the same thing. I'll take those off. I don't think I've got any on this side. So the 5.25-inch drives, which are heavier, you only get one on one side. Okay, I'm looking now at the front fitting for another fan. Okay, it mounts down in there. You can just make out the fan on this angle. Okay, in fact, if I move the light, you can make out the fan. Can you see here? This is actually screwed in place. Well, there's a tiny little tab there and the opposite side. So there is one screw hole, but they have to be the same size. There is no other fan at the front. It's just 2 of those at the front, which is fine. Okay, we'll actually put the light back, see if the front returns comes off for me. No, it may come off. It's just extremely tight, and I don't want to break a new case. As for fitting the 2.5-inch drives, it obviously must come off in some way, because you can't get these out otherwise. But you've also, I've just noticed on the front, there is a protective plastic film, like so. So where you've got the dull gunmetal front, you've actually got these lovely glossy inlays that fold in. It is plastic, obviously it is plastic, but you've got a sort of matte plastic here and a glossy plastic there. I really quite like this case from the front. Yeah, the door is reversible. It will go on the opposite way. The thing there was that the door, the whole case, you want to lay it flat to engage the runners and then pull into place. Just take a look at the front. I don't think that's bad looking for this price point. £38 worth. It's not bad looking at all. You could call it austere, but if you look, you can see there's plenty of light through there. Means plenty of airflow. So the rear fan on pull, the front fan on pull, it's going to suck a lot of air through. Whether I need any fan in the top is perhaps questionable. The only question I have, if we just nip back to it, is that internal dust filter for the bottom is pathetic. It's just cut to shape as well. It's pathetic. So that's the letdown. The rest of the case, quite good. If I was going to give it a score, I would have to score it 4.5, 5 out of 5. It's pretty good. It's cheap. It's not inconsiderably robust. It seems quite nice. And the working space inside is excellent. This is obviously for the Xeon server. So now I'm going to go under the desk and get it out and have a look. If you're still watching this video, please hit that like, please hit subscribe. It helps me out immensely. Let's have a look, guys. See you later. Dramatic moment. Yeah, I recorded this in the wrong orientation, so it's all letterboxed. The dog is squeaking at me, and I've been going on for far too long. If you have stuck it out this far, I thank you very much for spending your time with me, and I hope you've enjoyed that I've slightly tried to edit this for you guys. If you want to find out more, do visit me at my blog, megalomaniacboar.blogspot.com. See you soon, folks.